My name is Kevin Elwood, and I'm the Director of Franchise Development, and I handle the West Coast. So any guests that are on today would be working with me because this particular session is geared toward Northern California attendees. So throughout this presentation, if you have any questions, if you could please just take notes on it, and then you can reach out to me after the presentation, and I'll be happy to give you deep responses to any questions you may have. So, okay, so let me just start again. My name is Kevin Elwood, and I'm here to tell you about the JEI franchise opportunity. I'm going to tell you who is JEI, what is the JEI program. I'm going to tell you more deeply on the franchise opportunity. And then, as I said, for Q&A, if you could address your questions to me directly, or if you've been talking to another individual in our company, you can reach out to them. Okay, our company, JEI, was founded in 1977 in South Korea. It's one of the largest educational companies in the world. We have over 500 learning centers worldwide and 60 here in North America. Over the course of our nearly 50 years, we've had tens of millions of students work through our programs. And we currently have 500,000 students working in JEI programs every day. The name JEI, the word is Jeonyoung, and I may be pronouncing it incorrectly. I apologize, but it's a Korean word that means talent. And one of our principles is the belief that within every person lies the potential for talent, and that this talent can be unlocked with the gift of education. So what we're doing, we're facilitating the children, the students, to develop their talent through our programs. So I'll get in more deeply with that. This is our motto: a better life through better education. And this is what we believe, that what we can do to contribute to the students' educational experience will lead to a better life for them. JEI stands for kids. This is something that sometimes people often ask us, what does JEI stand for? Now, of course, I already told you JEI means Jeonyoung Educational Institute, which is talent, but we have a little marketing campaign, a little play on the words, because when people say, what does JEI stand for? We go beyond just the definition of JEI. We say what we stand for, which is we stand for kids, and we stand for education. We stand for development, child development, excellence. There's many things that you can say JEI stands for. So this is kind of a marketing campaign and a motto that we use too, that JEI stands for kids. I'm going to play a short video. It's only about 2 minutes, and I will play it now.
JEI Learning Center is the franchise opportunity for anyone passionate about education and interested in investing in their future and community.
I look at JEI as helping children becoming problem solvers, unlike some other centers or other franchisees which harp on speed. JEI, unlike that, really wants to work with children and help them learn the concept. So it's definitely for kids of the future.
JEI offers some of the lowest startup costs and royalty rates in the industry, as well as responsive, collaborative, and consistent support. For a limited time, JEI is offering up to $15,000 in startup incentives.
JEI programs are designed to build and strengthen the foundation from the basics to the advanced level, with our step-by-step learning approach making learning easy for everyone. And I believe each child can soar and deserves the right to reach their greatest potential. So this is the backbone of JEI. With the help of our program, our students are able to achieve the results that help them in school and beyond.
The support that I get from JR is unbelievable. Like I said, in other centers that I have owned, no company gives you the support that JR gets. This is the best program for every single child.
We encourage you to do your research, and you will find that JEI offers the best package with effective curriculum, individualized attention, and strong support. To begin your JEI journey, go to jeifranchise.com. JEI stands for opportunity. JEI stands for community. JEI stands for kids.
Whoops.
JEI Learning Center is the
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video that featured a few of our very talented and distinguished franchisees. Fiona, she was actually our franchisee of the year last year. So, it's nice to hear her words of encouragement to you. So, about 2 years ago, we celebrated our 30th anniversary here in the United States. And what you will see here, these are just some little samples of some of the campaigns that we ran at that time. But, this kind of design block with what we call the swoosh, the yellow swooshes there. JEI stands for success, or JEI stands for kids. This is part of our marketing campaign design. I'm going to go over each of the subjects, a quick review on each of the subjects that we offer. We have 5 subjects, as you can see here. We have math, English, reading and writing, problem-solving math, and then we have a program called Brain Safari, which is a critical thinking program. And so these are the 5 kind of revenue streams that you would have at your center. There's a few benefits about this. For example, if a student is enrolled in the math program, they would also be able to utilize some of the materials from our JEI problem-solving math curriculum. Also, a student enrolled in the English program would be able to utilize some of the reading and writing materials. That will be up to the instructor and the director, to supplement, and as part of their lesson planning, they would be able to insert these other materials based on the child's interest and need, and even discussions with the parents, of course, too. And then secondarily, the Brain Safari program, the critical thinking, that is also able to be interspersed into the enrollment program. So if a child is enrolled in the math program, for example, in the month, the student will have 4 books. Perhaps one of those books could be a Brain Safari critical thinking book. Same if they're enrolled in the English. Of the 4 books, maybe one could be the critical thinking book as well. So again, up to the instructor and the director, there is flexibility and discretion on how to utilize these materials for the students. But what you'll see here, like for the example, the math program starts from pre-K through 9th grade. Same with the English. And then the reading and writing starts after reading. So they're once the children are readers, it's 2nd grade through 8th grade. And then the problem-solving math is 1st grade through 7th grade. And the problem-solving math is kind of more analytical and problem-solving, maybe more word problems. And then the Brain Safari is kindergarten through 5th grade. I will say also that we have an item called the JEI Pen, which is for the English program. And that is for students who are pre-readers, or actually even young students who are readers, to help them read the directions and read passages, use the pen against the vocabulary. So essentially what the student does is they touch the pen to the cover of the book, and then the pen will know which study material the student is working on. Then the student can touch the pen on any sentence in the book, any directions, any vocabulary, any pictures, and it will explain the images, the vocabulary, or the instructions to the student. So it's a very nice tool. It's something, once we're communicating, I'll be happy to send you a clip of somebody using that pen. So the materials are fun and engaging. They utilize clues and activities to promote the student's interest. I will say our materials are very beautiful. They're very colorful. There's fantastic illustrations, beautiful artistry. So it's a very, very nice books. Also, even on the curriculum such as math, which some of our competitors essentially just do equations after equations after equations, they're not really beautiful to look at. We still use a lot of tables and graphs and other visual depictions to help the students understand the concepts. So fun and engaging workbooks, they're very colorful, and the student, even the JEI pen is another engagement tool. But so you will enjoy the workbooks, the student will enjoy the workbooks. It's based on small step approach, and that makes it easy to build confidence. So every student who enrolls in our program through our diagnostic process, we are able to determine what they have success with. And then that will be essentially the beginning of their enrollment in our program. They will have confidence right away because we are going to give them something that they have capability doing. And then we will build on it each step by step to build on that foundation. We also have what we call the spiral structure format, which helps the students retain the skills that they've learned. We all know that practice makes perfect. A lot of our competitors utilize deep repetition, constant repetition, heavy repetition in order for the student to succeed and for the student to retain those concepts learned. We don't, of course we do repetition, but we don't do it in the same manner. We use what we call the spiral structure, which means as the student is advancing, they are also revisiting topics and subjects and learning concepts that they've been shown before. But now it's being shown again, so they're able to reinforce it. But we're not giving them the same assignment again and again and again, like our competitors do. So in that sense, we are a very child-friendly program, and the students enjoy it, and they don't necessarily notice the redundancy that is built into it through the spiral structure, as opposed to just a straight repetition, do it again, do it again, and do it again. We don't do it that way. And then we utilize a three-step framework where we introduce a new concept, the student practices it, and then they master it. And so when they come to the center, the first things that we do with them when we give them their new book for the week is we introduce them to new concepts. And that's where we are working with the child face to face. The child is seated right in front of us, maybe only 4 up to 5 students at a table. They're all doing their own materials, but the instructor will be able to work with the child to introduce the new concepts that the book introduces. So before the student leaves the center today, all new concepts will have been introduced, and the student will have had an opportunity to practice it in front of us so that we can see their capability. And of course, they're not going to be masterful yet at it, but we're going to see that they are on track to accept this challenge and take it home with them and practice it at home. And by the end of the week, they will have mastered this book. In our program, the students correct every error they ever make. So they're getting 100%. They are achieving mastery. In school and in other programs, an 80% might be acceptable and they get a B, but nobody is expecting them to fix or correct that 20%. In our program, everything is brought up to the mastery level. So every week the child is ultimately getting 100% on everything that they've done through the week in that book. One thing you'll see here too is that we are aligned with the school standards, the state standards in all 50 states. This is something that we were very particular about when we introduced this curriculum, and in the development of the curriculum. It was part of the advisors and development staff were members of the NCTE and the NCTM, which is the National Council of Teachers of Math and English. So, and these are the people that actually are very, they're the think tanks, they're the masterminds for textbook writing. So all the publishers, nationwide publishers and universities that are part of the development of curriculum for school, they utilize the NCTE and NCTM, and they make sure that all the states align. And so our curriculum is compatible to that. So that's one thing that separates us from our competitors as well. So what we do in the beginning, we do a diagnostic test. Every student who comes into the center, we give them this test, which is a proprietary item. It's something very special just for you as our franchisee and our director. These are one of the tools that you will have. And then the goal is to find the missing information in the child's learning. So what is missing in their learning? And then we will, like I said, we will start them from a point of strength, and then we will address every learning gap that they have, either at anything that they've already have a learning gap at school. And as we progress through our materials, we will see those missing links and we will fill them in, and the child will ultimately master it, and they will master their grade level. This enables the individual learning program for each student based on specific needs. So every student, as I said, is seated at the table working on their own material. Even twins are not going to do the same thing. Everybody is different. Everyone has their own specialized needs, and we learn that through our proprietary diagnostic process. And then what we do, we will tell you what are the objectives of each of the levels. So one of the communication tools that we have is to share with parents the goals of each level. We discuss it with the students. We keep them engaged and that they know what they're working on and what they're working toward. So this proprietary method leaves no guessing on the part of the director with regard to where to start the student. And then our proprietary system will also continue evaluating the results, and that will help with the lesson planning week by week. What you see here is what we call the IPPR, the Individual Progress Prescription Report. And of course, you can't really see the detail on it, but it's just good for you to see the kind of the elements that we have in our diagnostic, what were the observations, and what kind of errors did they make? Not only what kind of errors did they make, but what kind of what was the selection they made? Even though it was a wrong answer, it's good to know what they selected as a wrong answer, because it can help us again understand their mindset and their learning process. So what we're able to do is really get inside the student's ability and know very deeply what their needs are. And then you'll see on the bottom right side, you'll see like a chart. That is the lesson plan and the schedule, and then it tells you what the objectives are through this learning. And so this is something that it does become kind of a report. And you'll see on the lower left, it shows the analysis of the different domains that are being addressed for the student. But the lesson planning is already prescribed for you. You can see, and each one of those boxes is 1 week. So essentially, this is almost like 2 or 3 months of planning. And this is a roadmap, but again, the student's performance and your assessment will this may fluctuate as we advance week by week. So we're going to be learning what the student we're going to learn from the student how their performance will dictate what we do next. Okay, and then so the student experience is that they come to the center once a week. They come 1 hour per subject. So if they're studying 2 subjects, they would come 2 hours, but that would be on 2 different days typically. We like to give the students we don't want to overload them. So if they come one day for math and another day for English, that is, how they will attend the center. As I said, they're going to sit and work on new concepts with the instructor, and they're going to be going over it directly with the instructor, and then they will perform as well in the center for the instructor to oversee and observe. They will turn in the homework that they did from the last week, and before they start today's classwork, we're just going to give them a small review. It's a one page, typically one page, and it's just a review of the things they did at home, because we will grade their book and give it back to them to make their corrections. But we can't do that immediately once they just turned it into us just this moment. But we can just say, here, do this small, what we call an interim assignment. And they will do this interim assignment, and we will see how they perform on this. And that will tell us, yes, they've mastered the work at home. And that will tell us also what to do with them in class today. As I said, they will correct any mistakes through the guidance that we provide them, and they will receive their new materials for the coming week, and they will start that in the class with the instructor on the new concepts. And then as I mentioned, the interim evaluation, that they will do it again when they return next week. When they return with the book we're giving them now, they're going to bring back next week. But at that time, we're going to give them the interim evaluation to review that book. So it's a weekly cycle, that goes like that. And so I hope that explained it. But of course, we'll train you and we'll give you deep understanding of it. So why should you franchise? You can maximize your potential and minimize your risk, because a franchise is a proven model. Franchising is 2.5 times more likely to succeed than if you were just to open your own business and start from scratch and build your business model from the ground up, including your tools, your materials. So, franchising is a model that has been proven and found to be exciting. And that's why it became a franchise, because it's something that the broader population would like to see replicated. So 1 out of every 10 businesses is a franchise business. So that is, you can see the scope and scale of things. And you work with a proven and successful business model, as I said. So we have, as I said, nearly 50 years of doing this. So we have a very strong business model. We have a very strong curriculum, which has been refined and revised over the course of all these many years. We know how students perform. We know how to help them, because we've had these tens of millions of examples over the course of our history. And that's why a franchise is a good model, because they have that over time, they will have that big pool of knowledge to share with you. You will have access to training and the proprietary materials, as I mentioned, and you will receive assistance in your business from start to finish. We have of course, we have a training department. The training is a 5-day program, partially virtual, partially in person, typically done at either our New Jersey regional office or at our Los Angeles headquarters. But the training department will be with you for the first entire year. And then the operations team will work with you from that point on. And actually, the training and operations department work together. So your first year, you're predominantly, working with the training department, but the operations team is with you as well. Why educational franchising? Well, every child is, this system is one of the fastest growing industries. The education is always kind of a hot trending thing. As you know, over many years, many businesses have evolved in the child provision, providing services to students. Not only, education, but there's health and fitness and nutrition and exercise. So there's cooking classes even. So there's so many different franchises, but education is one of the top priorities. Parents will always prioritize the educational aspect. So even among the child businesses, education is still, the most, um, what parents would prioritize. They would give a higher priority to this. So it is a $1.4 billion industry for the ages of children 4 to 14, which is precisely our age groups. Uh, Educational business is very socially respected, and it has strong consumer need. And education tends to be recession proof. And even during the pandemic, of course, some were affected by it, but one of the great things about JEI, being that we are a major global company, is that all of our materials that we give to the students in paper form, we also have it digitally developed. So we were able to, react very quickly in the pandemic situation. And, you know, um, I think it helped most of our franchisees were able to continue and operate unimpeded. We actually even had some grand openings during that time. And even some of those centers have become some of our most successful operators. So it's definitely recession proof even in tough times. So, so why become a JEI franchisee? Well, we are one of the world's largest educational companies, as I mentioned. We have we're a huge publishing company. We have, major, um, you know, published materials, so many different levels of so many different programs. We have language programs, we have math and English, we have the critical thinking, internationally, we have other very intriguing things, so we are a huge organization with heavy research and development. And like I mentioned, the JEI pen is one of those really kind of neat little developments that I personally enjoy. And that's something you don't really see that in some of our competitors. We have a comprehensive training and ongoing support program, which we will provide to you. And we will provide you with all of our um, information. You know, we have our training, we have toolbox, I guess you could call it, essential materials that we share with each of you. Of course, training, you're going to get all of that up front. You're going to have access to, marketing campaigns, different kinds of utilization, how to utilize some of the supplemental tools, how to address a special situation. We have an archives of many, many uh, concepts and scenarios and situations. And then also we hold directors meetings where we share information. We take topics and we roll them out, and we share it from the corporate side to you. But then there's also deep discussions where the franchisees talk to one another, and they say, "Oh, when I did this, this was my experience." And that's another thing that we do as corporate. We can tell you when you have a situation that you want some clarification on. We can say, oh, well, so and so had that happen, in San Francisco, and this is how it was addressed, and it all worked out smoothly. And so we have that power of being the conduit of information to be shared from each of you, from our among our team. And then we will also tell you all the differences between our competitors and how our programs excel, how our students excel in our programs. Um, as far as the investment and how we are different from our competition, we are a low investment franchise. You will see here that the Initial investment is anywhere from 61,000 to 111,000. And I'm going to show you another chart in a moment that gives you that itemized breakdown. But those fees are not all paid to us. Only a small portion is paid to us. But you do need to, buy furniture and things like that. So there's fees that you'll pay to other people. We also have the most significantly lower monthly royalty structure among our competitors. I'm going to show you that as well. We have, we have multiple subjects. So when families enroll, they can enroll in math and English, and they might even enroll fully in the critical thinking program. So it is possible that a student could be enrolled in 3 subjects. That could be a third revenue stream for you. But as I mentioned earlier, there's also ways that you can you know uh, improve the students or have them participate without having to pay the full tuition structure. But if they wanted the full program, then that would be a third revenue stream for you. We have multi-unit growth opportunities, which means you can open more than one location. We do encourage and want multi-unit growth, and but we want you to have strategic growth. We want you to succeed in the first center before embarking on a second center. So, but we will explain all that and show you the benchmarks, how to achieve that that goal if you wish. And we have protected territories, which also separates us from our competition. Most of our competitors do not have a protected territory. We do. So you will be given a map of your area, and we will strategize, about it, how the design of the shape. There's a lot of factors. Sometimes there's rivers without bridges. Sometimes there's mountains and valleys. So there's a lot of factors. There's highways. There's a lot of factors that uh, come into the consideration on the shape and feasibility of a territory. But we have done our heavy research on this, and we know the hot areas, the hot markets. We've already designed our territories. But once we have franchisees, we want to know where is their specific location going to be. So sometimes we need to, modify the territory a little bit to fit the location. But ideally, we hope your location will fit the territory. That's the goal anyway. So we will discuss that in our development discussions one-on-one. So what you'll see here is that actually the franchise fee is $22,500. And the first 3 items are the items that you would pay to us. The franchise fee, $22,500, the initial inventory deposit, which is refundable, by the way, that's $5,500. And then there is a $500 initial marketing fee. And that is to help set up all the web pages for the various accounts that we will provide news feeds for. So those 3 fees you will pay to us, but the other fees are things like, the rent, deposit, maybe some construction costs. You need a sign on your building. You need to have a marketing plan, a grand opening plan. You need to get a permit for the building. And there might be some other fees, legal fees or attorney review fees. So that's why the range can be anywhere from 61,000 to 111,000. And that's based on our current FDD, franchise disclosure document of April 2024. This slide here shows you our royalty compared to our 2 biggest peer competitors. We have a style of instruction, which is to teach the students to be independent. These other 2 brands are closest to us in the sense that they are closest to us in the kind of terms of the style of education, which is a little different than traditional tutoring, like Sylvan or Huntington. Those are typically very codependent between a tutor and a child. So their tuition is very, very expensive, and their royalties are also very, very expensive. But JEI and some of the competitive brands, which we can talk about, privately when we have our discussions. But you'll see we are very generous in our royalty. Our royalty is anywhere from $35 when you open your center, and it can go as low as $23. And it will grow as you grow your enrollment, your royalty will drop, dramatically, and that will be for all your students. So, for example, when you reach 241 subjects, all 241, you will pay us a royalty of $23. You won't pay, the first 30 at 35, the second 30 at 32. No, there's an accrued effect benefit to you to get to the highest enrollment category so that you can get the lowest sliding scale royalty of $23. And you'll see our competitors are significantly higher. And keep in mind they don't have protected territories. Um, so there's a lot of things that to be said about our programs, plus the fact that we are a very world-renowned, well-established program with really beautiful materials. So I hope you'll get the chance to see that. But our competitors here that are showing are significantly higher, anywhere from $40, $41. And then even the lower rates of say $36 to $32, that's after a period of probation. And I'm not sure what the probation periods are. I believed that some of the probation periods are as long as 2 years. That in their systems, you may have to work up to 2 years before you can get the lower tier probationary royalty rate. So, but that's I don't know all the details of their systems, but I can just tell you ours is phenomenal in terms of that, because the difference, 241 students times the difference, $13 difference times 241. Imagine that what that does to your bottom line, to have more staff, to pay yourself a little more profitability, and also marketing. So that is dramatic. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the JEI Learning Center site overview. We are retail locations. We want you to have between 800 and 1,200 square feet. They are typically closer to 1,200, but we may allow smaller if the location is in a very high rent district, or the availability of spaces is very, very limiting. We can then work with you on that and accept a smaller space as long as it meets other criteria. But we do want road visibility, ample parking, safety for the students to get out of the car and walk into the center. The visibility aspect, the benefits of being in a retail location are the marketing side. If you have good visibility, you need less marketing to drive traffic to you. So there's a benefit with that. And then we also want you to be located near the communities where families live. So, ideally, if a family can come straight from school, just cross town, or, within the neighborhood even, that's ideal. Sometimes you have to get out on big roads and travel, too far away. That does not, it's a deterrent for a lot of families. So keep in mind that the centers are open in the after school hours, which also coincides with rush hour. Parents trying to get home from work, trying to get food on the table, trying to get siblings and other, activities, kids going from karate to dance to, so there's a lot of things. So micro market is important. So locate yourself as close as you can to the schools and the families where they live. And if there are competitors, That's actually a good sign. It means that there's a market presence. And, we should have, we do our own validation, and we feel that when we open a center, that the market opportunity is there. Okay, so a typical JEI center, we market toward children ages 4 to 14. The setting of the center might be in study stations where there would be one instructor with up to 5 students seated in front of that instructor. So you have kind of a workstation with the desks in front of the instructor, and the instructor is at her own desk or his own desk. And so the ratio of 1 to 5 is very conducive for that instructor to be able to work with each student on all their new materials. You know, so so uh, you know, almost with 5 students, your student would a particular student might get 10 to 15 minutes of very direct um, instruction time. But the instructor is overseeing them every minute that they're in the center for that full hour. So the center is open typically 4 to 6 days a week, and that includes not just class hours, but your office hours. So, you could arrive to work earlier in the day and, be prepared to do, some lesson planning or grading books or, working with your staff on some of that stuff. And or marketing, putting yourself out into the field, go do voluntary work at the schools and things like that. That would be, a good way to spend your work week hours, is to be in front of people, telling them who you are and how you can help their students, including teachers who will want resources for their students for after school tutoring. So 25 hours a week is what we recommend, or more. The more, obviously, the more commitment you make, the greater return you will have. And the center should be visually inviting for everyone who comes, students and parents. And you may hire certified or accredited teachers. You do not have to do that. They tend to cost more money, and they are set in their ways as teachers. Of course, if they agree to follow our system, then that's wonderful, and especially if you can afford them or whatever. But the public is not paying for the teacher's credentials. The public is paying for the certified JEI program, and anyone who facilitates the program is certified by us. You will be certified by us. You will train your people, and we will help you train your people, and they will be sanctioned as the instructors for the center. This is what a site might look like. We have the signage on the location, which we do have an incentive, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. But we do help you pay for that sign on your building. But these are 2 very nice looking centers, which give a very good impression to the communities, and it fits our I believe, the credibility of our logo, our brand. So we want a nice representation of who we are. Here's a few others, as you can see. Very nice, images in the community. And then on the interior, you can see, there is going to have to be some construction perhaps. This is an ideal location because you will see there's a lot of big classroom space here. There's a greeting area when the family comes in. There's a waiting room and a window, a reception window, or at least the director has a window to see through, to see, oh, somebody just came through the front door, and to greet them. And so this is a good footprint of what a center might look like. Again, here's as it's nearing completion, you can see the larger classroom configuration. And these are some of the tools that we provide to you as part of your grand opening incentive package, are these design elements. that you will employ in different parts of the center. We have different locations for different pieces. And then we have a grand opening. We want you to promote your grand opening. And the franchise agreement does ask you to invest $6,000 in your grand opening, $6,000. And as part of our incentive, we are going to meet you and give you $6,000 toward the subsequent marketing immediately following your grand opening. So, and that grand opening, it doesn't have to be like, it's not a one-day event. Grand opening can be several months, getting your build out and getting set up and doing a soft opening, a bigger opening. And then just some of those costs, you might cover your 6,000 expense, not in a one-day affair. It would be over the course of, 3 to 5 or 6 months. And then you can kick in our budget to you of 6,000. And essentially between your 6,000 and our 6,000, that is almost your first year of marketing. And that should help you really get a boost in your enrollment. And these are just different pictures of grand openings and ribbon cuttings. We guide you on how, to incorporate and work with local chamber of commerce and different things. The support we give you, it's NFT is the National Franchise Training. I should say the new franchise training. And so all new individuals coming into our system will participate in this program. And as I said, it's 5 days, either in LA or New Jersey, most typically New Jersey. And we will help you in finding your location, helping you with the design and layout. We have a really wonderful design package that gives you the different floor plans. But we will advise you as well based on the current structure. When you may not need to tear down every wall, if we can advise you how to utilize the space that you are moving into. So that's part of the consultative process. Then we will help you with your grand opening and your open houses. Actually, at training, you will write a business plan and a grand opening plan. We have a really wonderful business plan template, that's preloaded with formulas and things like that. So when you key in the tuition and key in the rent and key in, your employee pay and all that, it can show you your bottom line operation. We have those tools for you, which we will share at training. And then our training team will work with you for the first year, as I said. We will be there on site for your grand opening. And then the franchise consultant, the support team, they will be your, one phone call away. They will always be the ones coming to host quarterly, regional meetings with, bringing together other franchisees. So we have a great team of support. The training itself is a 5-day training. It covers everything about the programs that we offer, the testing, how to consult with parents and advise how to sell them, and then also make them understand what we're doing. And they will gain the trust. They will trust you to follow the plan, the study plan that will be best for their student. You will have access to our proprietary global system, which is a web-based management system. So all your inventory will be monitored and calculated there. Your lesson plans will be on there. And, so there's a whole system that is very helpful to you. And also, even in the terms of inventory, the inventory system is very well managed because in essence, everything you assign a student for the week or for the month, the system will know that. So we will automatically ship and replace that inventory to you. So the process of keep maintaining your monthly inventory is very much minimized, especially by comparison to some of our competitors that I know, because keep in mind, the materials are massive. There's so much content, so many levels, so many programs, so many pages. Ours is a very orderly, concise way. and you will find it very as a very nice management system to keep control of your inventory. You will have practical training. So if when you go to our training, they may take you to another location and show you a real center and do some things there. And of course, we're going to tell you about the competition and how we are different from our competitors. Do you need an educational background? No. You do not need to be a teacher or an educator. We, want you to have certain, skill sets in that regard, but honestly, your instructors are going to be the ones facilitating mostly with the students. So, you will come to know the curriculum very well, and you're going to know, how to facilitate the students. But your workers are going to be doing that almost, predominantly more than you will be doing. We will train you and certify you, and what we want from you, we are looking for highly passionate people who have an appreciation for education and children. If you have excellent communication skills and interpersonal skills, a smile is always great. And we want you to have the ability to manage people. Of course, you're going to have your staff to manage, but there's also families. You have to manage children, you have to manage the parents. So there's a lot of skill sets on interpersonal skill and how to keep students motivated, how to keep parents informed, how to keep your staff motivated. So these are all things that you need to think about from a people soft skills like that. And then business and marketing experience, if you have it, that's great. You will learn it on the job, and we will also be your guidance for it. We have great tools to share with you and great suggestions on how to do it. And we have, all the web pages set up and everything. So we can show you how to capitalize on those tools that we have. We want you to be well funded and capitalized. You need to have a net worth of about $150,000 and a liquid assets of about $75,000. So those, most people just between their homes and their equity in their homes, and maybe their savings can easily qualify for that. It's a relatively low benchmark because it is considered a low investment franchise. But keep in mind, we don't want you to liquidate anything to open the center. We don't want you to, dump all your savings into this or all your home equity. But we want you to have enough of your resources that you can just, fund this as needed. We want you to be enthusiastic and committed. We want you to be open-minded to our system. I kind of use the example of teachers who kind of already might have their own mindset. We want people to be in tune with our message, which is facilitating the student to be a self-learner. And so there is a different paradigm there. So that's something that we look for you to develop and understand and appreciate. And then we want you to have an entrepreneurial spirit. We're just about done here. So we will offer you the materials. We have the low investment opportunity, low royalties. We have protected territories for you. We have 50 years of know-how, and we have our training team and our support team to support you. And then we have that incentive I told you about, $6,000 in marketing, $3,000 towards your sign. We have other categories, which I'll share with you individually, but some portion toward furniture, some portion toward flooring and paint, because as you saw in some of the photos, the interior of the center will have a specific look. So we want you to follow that branding, and that's why we will subsidize some of the paint costs and such, and some of the labor toward that. The next steps are to complete the application. We will send you the application in our initial communications. but maybe you've already received it, or if you could go online to jeifranchise.com, you can click on various things. But hopefully we have your names and such from participating in today's event, and we will communicate with you directly and make sure you have an application in hand. Then we will provide you with the FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document, and that tells you everything about our operations, and you just need to receive it and sign a little receipt page. And this is all done by automated system now. It's very easy, but by law, you need to have 14 business days to review before the franchise can be sold. We're nowhere near, we're going to take much longer than that. So it takes a minimum of 14 days. But by the time you study us and get your application to us, the time will pass, but that will give you time to do your homework, and we will answer all the questions that you have. Do your own due diligence. We're going to share with you marketing data and things like that, but you don't have to rely on everything that we give you. You should do some of your own due diligence and make sure that you feel good about this opportunity. And then we will schedule some follow-up discussions with you. So this is my contact information, Kevin Elwood at jeilearning.com. You can call or text me 678-733-5383. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I will talk to you about these things, the territories, the initial investment, and the incentives that we have to offer you. And I'll send you a little sheet, a little promo sheet that explains those incentives. So it's 4:02, or I should say 1:02 on Northern California time. I appreciate everybody's attendance today, and please reach out to us, and we will be reaching out to you as well. But any questions you may have, thought about, please just send them to us, text them, or call us, and we'll be happy to answer everything that you need to know. Okay? So thank you so much, and I really appreciate everybody joining us today. So I will sign off. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.